Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. And now, please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks!
Brian, you had me choking on my water. I was hoping it'd go away.
You were just so thrilled.
I was so thrilled. Yeah, the second you played the music, I started choking on my water. But with that being said, man, great intro. We got.
Oh wow, you really did. Your voice.
I'm telling you, it'll clear up. It's like getting a cramp at the beginning of the game, and I just need to get loosened up. So I cramped up on the opening kickoff. All right. So let's roll with it. Welcome.
Is that how you're feeling right now?
That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. All right, so welcome to.
I actually like the new voice. I think it sounds pretty good.
I know. It's like I'm Phoebe. I'm like Smelly Cat right now.
Yeah, you sound a little bit like Okay, fair. We'll go with Smelly Cat.
All right, some of you recognize the reference, but welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact in your own. Yes. All right. So before we roll into the show and my voice comes out of its cramp, I definitely want to give a big shout out to Stack Ventures, big venture partner. We are rolling out their 39-story building on 1900 Broadway. Check out our Llama page for our upcoming event on June 9th. There'll be more information on our show notes. You're laughing, Brian. It's just not going away.
It's not going away.
Maybe we'll be here with us the whole show.
You got an hour to go, man. Is that okay? You're going to be all right?
We'll go with it. All right. So to take the focus off of myself, let's bring in my two rock star guests. We have Jeremiah and Nathan. Good to see you guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Just join me in your.
Hey, nice to see you too, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Do you have a rock star voice?
Oh yeah.
I'm not smoking.
Yeah, I am Marge. That's it. I am Marge. The sisters. Yeah. All right. I can feel it loosening up. Well, good to see you guys. Glad you could be here. For those of you who don't know these two amazing individuals, we'll give them their intro. Jeremiah, we'll start with you. Give a little quick intro about yourself and let our audience know about what you're up to.
Sure. Well, it's so awesome to be here. I'm Jeremiah Owyang. I've been in Silicon Valley, the Bay Area, for like 27 years, since Dotcom, and been through 5 tech waves. I had a services companies. I was at big tech. I was at startups and angel investor. And I'm doing 2 things right now. One is my day job. I'm a general partner at Blitzscaling Ventures, based on the famous book called Blitzscaling by my friend Chris Ye and Reid Hoffman. And I lead the AI investments in early stage startups. And we can talk about some of those amazing startups that are growing crazy fast here in Silicon Valley. And then number 2, I run an event series for AI founders and also VCs and corporate AI leaders called Llama Lounge. But I also enjoy the Bay Area, and living life here in the Bay is just amazing, and seeing all the changes.
I love your gratitude. I mean, you came in today, you were like, hi.
It's beautiful here.
And you're like, it's beautiful. It is. We're living in an amazing area in the Bay Area. But thank you for being here. Nathan, good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me here.
I know we've been trying to make this work for a while. I'm glad you finally made it here. I'm excited. Tell our guests a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Nathan Beckord. I was also out here during the .com bubble. Ooh. That was fun. So we've been going through a few cycles together. Currently, I run 2 startups. I've got Foundersuite.com, which is for startups raising capital, and we've been around several years. We've had over 100,000 startups use Foundersuite to raise $21 billion. And then about 18 months ago, we launched Fundingstack.com for mostly emerging manager VCs, funding advisors, investment bankers, people who help companies raise capital, or emerging manager VCs who are raising a fund. So 2 startups, one for startups, one for VCs, and also just loving the Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Marin vibe, and very grateful to be here.
Yeah, I love it. And what I love about having both you here is you have such history in the industry. So I really want to kind of start there. What and Jeremiah, I'll start with you, and then of course Nathan, bounce around this. What got you guys into this, and what is it about the startup ecosystem that really hooked you early on?
I mean, it's just tech in general. Startups is part of that because the startups need to partner with big tech as well, right? So I see this all as one giant ecosystem. And I always wanted to be in tech. And so in the early days in .com, I was at Exodus Communication. It was the web host for all the .com. So I saw all that rise and then explode. Then I was in Web 2 and I led social media at a big giant tech company. And then I was hired by Forrester to like track trends and learn how to forecast markets. Then we spun out and started Altimeter Group, where I was one of the founding partners, and there was a small exit there. And then I started some other things, and it led me to, I was in the sharing economy and Web3 and now AI, which is frankly the biggest boom that I've seen in this whole movement. And it's just transforming business and society. Just even in the last week, the amount of changes that are happening. So I'm basically addicted, like the dopamine addiction, to like the changes in tech. It's just so amazing to see how the rapid pace of change. And I want to make sure I have a front row seat or driver's seat or a passenger seat. The founder is actually the driver, to really see these changes come to fruition and to be there and part of that. And it's just an exciting time to be alive. Just thinking about in the history of like humankind, we haven't seen a technology before where we are in some ways replicating or creating a species, right? We've used fire, we've used mechanical engines and combustion machines and steam and the wheels invented and then agriculture, but this is something different. Thinking machines, like this is a monumental milestone in the history of humankind, and we are right here.
Not only are we inventing a being, but one that's ostensibly much more intelligent than anything that's ever existed before, right? I mean,
it is a debate, right? Whether that's true or is it just?
I mean, I can say maybe intelligence is the wrong word, but it has more information and more knowledge.
That is undoubtedly true.
Yeah,
I will never forget what I think I heard you speaking at another Opal. You did attend the Opal event, right? And you spoke.
I did.
You spoke.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe it was in Data Point. Were you in Data Point?
No, Chris was.
Okay.
My business partner, Chris Ye, was. But yeah, I do a lot of speaking.
I heard you say at one point, and I don't know where I was, but I'd never forget it. And you were talking about AI. It'll never replace leadership.
Yes. So.
Does that ring?
Yeah. So to a point. So AI can. So it depends on the type of leadership, right? And so I think the question, and I want to get your opinion too, is like, what do you teach your children? So I am trying to teach my children leadership and community and reading the room and how to lead communities, because I think that is one of the few skill sets that AI will be one of the last skills that it will learn to do.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so before we get off the topic, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I just want to touch on that. You think that leadership is one of the last things that AI is going to be able to understand and perform?
Yes.
Interesting. Because there's been so much written about leadership, right? There's such a huge, vast library of leadership information that it's been scraping and gathering up. It seems like that would be one of the easiest things for it to learn.
So, sure. And there's leadership classes where people go take classes and they suck at leadership. And there's people who go to these Ivy League schools and doesn't guarantee they're going to be great leaders, right?
Yeah.
And there's people who go to West Point to learn to be leaders and they fail in battle, right? So it doesn't guarantee that you have the knowledge in front of you, know how to implement it, and you have the ability to excite people and to read somebody and to get them to do and change their behavior. It's not something that a chatbot is always going to be so successful at compared to a human who can relate to another human. Now, I didn't say AI can never do leadership. I just said it's one of the last things it'll learn to do.
So we got to wait another 6 months.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's right.
All right. Well, again, we're taking a look at what brought you two into this world, and both of you again have a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to pass the same question to you, Nathan. You've been doing this a while. You're on your second company. You're focusing both on startups as well as VCs. What brought you in the early years, and what was kind of your genesis into the startup ecosystem?
Yeah, kind of similar, but slightly different track. I've I've identified it as an entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid. I was the kid who, in elementary school, I would order Chinese throwing stars and nunchucks out of the back of Kung Fu magazine and sell them to kids whose parents wouldn't let them have that stuff. And I had a little dirt bike. I would ride it up to the track and then rent it out for $10 an hour. I'd bring a book and read it and, make tons of money renting my dirt bike. So I was always an entrepreneur. Came out here from Boulder to Santa Clara University because Silicon Valley is just the mecca, right? Mm-hmm. If you are interested in entrepreneurship, and this is the heart of it all, right? I mean, lots of other places have sprung up. I spent some time in Austin, went to grad school there, but this is where it's all at, and so that's kind of what got me out here. My first job out of college, I was working in investment banking during the Dotcom bubble, helping these companies go public and publishing research and stuff like that. So that was very exciting, right? First job, you're working in this boom. And there's a lot of, excess there, but it was still very interesting to see. I remember Exodus. Yeah, it was
cool.
Some really cool stuff back in the day. And just that creation from zero to, I think there's a book called Zero to IPO, but basically that creation process of an idea to a company and beyond has always been fun for me. And, I've kind of been in the ecosystem in different roles, helping companies raise capital. I did that for a while, worked in JP Morgan's private placement group, helping companies raise capital. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur myself, not a wingman. I used to be a wingman to founders. And so I launched Foundersuite, which kind of serves both my purposes. I get to be a founder of a startup, and I get to help thousands of startups help raise capital, which, I feel like every day I get to wake up, talk about being grateful and gratitude. Every day I get to wake up, help companies raise capital, fulfill their dreams, pursue their dreams. So it's really fun for me. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the genesis of your first company. How long has it been, running? Is it brand new? I know, but I want our audience to know. And then what was that early stage like? And then when did you decide to, hey, I'm just going to do another one?
Yeah, it's all been it's funny. My career's all been very linear, right? I was helping companies raise capital, doing investment banking, then went off on my own. And I'm actually having lunch with her right after this, formed a little consulting business with a few friends, helping companies raise capital kind of as fractional CFO. And it would be the same playbook over and over again. We get a company in, a startup in, we build their pitch deck, we put together financial models, and then we build them a list of investors to go after, right? We're kind of prepping them to go raise money. And we build these nice elaborate spreadsheets to track all the investors, but within a week it would get very messy, right? And light bulb went off. This is around the time Mark Andreessen was, having his software is eating the world quote, right? I'm finally a light bulb, I'm why don't we build software for this and build a CRM around this? So that was our first product in the market, a CRM to replace the spreadsheet. And we've just kind of expanded from there, adding a lot more features and database of investors and intro tools, and I could go off on that. But to answer your question, why did this lead to a second company, Fundingstack? We started to get some VCs using Foundersuite with their startups, helping them raise capital, and they would come to us saying, hey, I'm using this with one of my companies to help them raise capital, but I got 4 more companies. How do I do them? And we don't have a way to do that. So again, light bulb, let's build a platform for that. And so it's all just been a very kind of linear progression.
And this began all when?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's hard to pick a start date. I'd say 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
And this is the first company.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Kind of started as a little side hustle, and I was still doing the consulting, and I would go do a big project, take all my money, send it off to a outsourced dev shop in Poland to kind of build the MVP, and it just gradually turned into a company, basically.
Nice. So Jeremiah,
that's really smart, by the way. Just want to compliment you. You saw a need and then you started building it on the side. That's great. Yeah.
Love it. So Jeremiah, talk a little bit about, we talked about the history now, and you were in corporate for a while, definitely loving the boom that's going on now, and you've seen different, stages of growth throughout your time here.
Yep.
You leaped into a startup yourself. Is that what you were saying earlier? You had your own startup for a little bit, and how did that?
A couple different things. Yeah, and I've advised startups and angel investors. So yeah, in and out of the ecosystem. I just want to go when I see a breakage And what I mean, like a power breakage, when a technology emerges where one group gets power over another, I run to that as fast as possible. And I saw that in social media. I saw journalism, media, marketing get disrupted. So I ran to that as fast as possible to figure it out. And we monetized it.
Well, tell me, what does that mean again? So when someone gets power,
social media gave everybody the ability to publish their thoughts and ideas without technical capability at low cost, right? And that disrupted all communications, marketing, and media channels and advertising channels. So I ran to that. We set up a company in Altimeter Group, which I was one of the founding partners, and we did very well for ourselves in that. So to help solve those problems by working with corporates and startups as an advisory firm, research and marketing. And then in the sharing economy, I saw that happen again. People were getting their goods and services from other peers, like a car, home, but other things as well. And we saw the rise of crypto emerge that was tied to that trend and the maker movement. So I could see that breakage happening. So I ran to that. And now this one's different though, right? It's like the power it's not like one set of humans is getting power over another. It's AI itself is getting power, right? The machines itself are gaining power. And of course, the companies and investors who are managing those technologies or funding or building them are getting that power. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always looking for that. When there's a change in the market dynamics and the power dynamics, like I run to that as fast as possible. So in October 2022, we saw the rise of GPT 3.5 emerge, right? And then that was world changing. And then I could see in San Francisco, like a couple of events were starting, like in January through February. And then April 2023, there was a big event called the Woodstock of AI, which was run by Hugging Face. And I was there at the event. There's like 5,000 people in the Exploratorium right. And I looked in the room and I snuck up to the top, took a photo, went viral. And like the CEO of Twitter, who's Elon, retweeted it, just went viral. And I said, whoa, there's a market here. And at that moment, I said, I need my own event. So I launched my event at that event. Like I just knew I had to do it. But everybody's events were called ML this, AI that, or AGI that. And so I said, I need a unique name. So I launched my event, Llama Lounge. Because alliterations are attractive and alluring, right? You just don't forget them. Yeah. And somebody brought llamas to that event, so I looked at them, and that was the inspiration.
Like a real llama.
Yeah, physical llamas. Like they were actually at the Exploratorium out front. It was ridiculous. So fast forward to today, it is springtime 2025, 2 years later since that. And just for those that are listening, I think there's a lot of locals, right, that are listening, but also people around the world. Yeah. Like. By my count, 1/3 of the billboards on 101 are about AI. Seems feasible, right?
Yeah.
And this month, there's 200 AI events in the Bay Area, most in SF. Like we've never, ever seen that. And so think about hackathons. Each hackathon has 200 to 300 developers. In most countries, they're lucky if they have one hackathon per year. In San Francisco Bay Area, there's, I think, 13 this month. This, like, to your point, this is the Mecca, right? Crazy. Like I have never seen this. Even in .com, which was like a lot of frothy like parties, and I was at those parties. It was fun, but this is different. Like people are building.
Interesting.
I want to go back because you said it's very.
Let me say
interesting.
one thing. It does, just to pick up on that. It does feel to me very much like the .com boom. Yeah. Like it's crazy. I mean, everyone was transitioning into a .com company at that time. No matter. What was that fish sauce company? It was like everyone was becoming a .com.
Fish sauce company.
Now there's one that like
sauce.com.
They changed their name to a .com and their stock like quadrupled overnight. You know,
but they were still selling fish sauce. Like they had nothing to do with .com. I mean, was
nothing
it just like
to do with .com.
Yeah, that's
they just
great.
Like rebrand.
Well, but I think that's half of those billboards on 101. They just put AI on there, and really they have
AI fish sauce now.
Yeah.
I went to SaaStr like last week or 2 weeks ago. Now it's SaaStr.ai, right? It's not SaaStr anymore. It's SaaStr.ai. It's everything.
So, well, I got a quick question, Jeremy. You said something in the beginning about identifying the shift, and you'd run to that.
Yes.
Now, I love it. I love that. A lot of people have their eyes on AI right now. There are going to be future shifts. There's been past shifts, and people run to create something from that. How were you able to identify not only the opportunity in the shift, but a pain point that would serve a market with everybody so unsure during those shifts? It's almost like you're a great speaker. Did you have to spend a lot of time educating the market on what you were creating during those shifts?
I don't know. It's just kind of had the skill since since Web 2. Like I just knew how to do it and write about it and speak about it. Like it's just an innate skill. But I also honed that skill at Forrester, right? Forrester, IDC, Gartner, Forrester. We were trained on forecasting and how to communicate to the market. I literally went through formal training on that and how to write, to do the market research reports. Like I have all those trainings, and then we started our firm to do that. So I have a formal background in forecasting. So I use those now as an investor. But we were also taught how to influence a market. There's literally a class that every industry analyst has to take. But I took that to a level up because they didn't know how to use social media. I was one of the first. So I just like combining all these things, right? And just trying to figure that out. But building this community here in Silicon Valley, this is something I've been doing for 20 years. In fact, that's how Chris Ye of Blitzscaling Ventures first met me 20 years ago. I was hosting an event at the British Bankers Club on Menlo Park in El Camino for the top bloggers. And he came, and I could see that this was the new power group. So I hosted them all, and he saw me doing that, and he put me on the board of his company, Ustream, which he later and his team sold to IBM. And that's how I got into the blitzscaling to become a GP. That was 20 years ago. Oh, nice. Right? So I just, like to see those, and when I see that power shift. But there was one quote from Bill Gates, and he said, whoever owns the personal agent, that's the big thing, because now you don't have to go to Google search or to Amazon or to a collaboration tool ever again, because that's the one interface that you're going to say. And he said that in 2023, I think spring or summer. And at that point, I knew it. That's it. And so then I formed up as a general partner at Blitzscaling to invest in companies that are literally doing that. And the companies I've invested are directly aligned to that thesis.
So can we drill down on that for 1 second?
Yeah.
You said that are directly doing that. And can you explain a little bit more deeply what that is?
Sure. So there's startups like we invested in Please.ai. That team is a consumer AI startup. And basically you can do your planning and also execution of all kinds of things in your personal life or career life. And you really don't need to leave that app to get your planning done and all those things in commerce. And it's all there. You can see it on the website, Please.ai. We also invested in Crew AI, which is enterprise, and that's a red hot company. They're growing very fast. I got to share these crazy stats. So the company's 18 months old, and they're already in 60% of the enterprise Fortune 500.
Oh. Wow.
They have 150 AI agents, but the team is very small. The team is only 25 people. So they have 6 AI agents for every human as the ratio in order to grow this fast. And there's a leaderboard, and I encourage everybody to go search for it. It's called the Lean AI Native Leaderboard. And it lists out the top startups in the AI space that are generating revenue. And they have to have under 50 employees and be under 5 years old. And they're making $5 million in revenue. And I'm going to share a shocking stat with you guys since you guys are so seasoned. So the average SaaS company, like you went to SaaStr, right? SaaStr AI, excuse me.
Yeah.
The average SaaS company makes $200,000 annual revenue per employee. That's average. Like the top 10, like Salesforce, Adobe, Zooms, they're making 700 to 900, maybe $1 million, right? Annual revenue per employee. This is going to blow your mind. The top 10, 20 of these lean AI native startups, which on average have only 20 employees, their revenue per employee, this is going to blow your minds off, is $3 million.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's like we have never seen the level of productivity, if you count it as revenue, per employee because they're hiring AI and agents, not humans.
So is this the new norm?
It is the new norm.
Well, I'll let that sink in.
Yeah, there's a lot we could go off on that. I mean, there's tons.
You say it's the new norm, but
there.
that can't be the new norm, obviously, for every...
It has to be moving forward. If
Box, Duolingo, Shopify CEOs, they're all saying we're AI first. You know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I don't want to get too deep into it, but even within my small businesses, we're looking at AI as replacement for many headcount. It's kind of crazy.
I'm hearing that across the industry. You're not alone.
Does
that make, but to say that out loud, does that kind of make you nervous with kind of all the pushback from other departments saying, well, we're going to lose our jobs? people are going to immediately hear that, but it's not about reducing the pie. It's about expanding it, and people find new ways of engaging in the market.
If you use AI, though,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you don't, then you don't get the resources.
Yeah. And so how do we, I mean, we can go anywhere with this. Brian, go for it.
Oh gosh, I mean, that's just such an amazing statement, right? If you're using AI, if not, you're not going anywhere. And I think that applies to everybody. I just think that there's going to be a massive percentage of the population who can't grab a hold of it, won't grab a hold of it, doesn't know how, and it is going to leave a lot of people behind. Yeah, because it's moving very, very quickly, and not everybody is able to adopt at that pace.
But it's the creative destruction that is, we've seen time and again since the Industrial Revolution, or before, right?
This seems a faster pace, though, right? The Industrial Revolution almost took like 100 years for it to really roll out. Like, this is going to happen in under 10 years.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's there was a great quote actually at SaaStr. This was Jason Lemkin's slide, but it was basically saying, SaaS, software as a service, has barely changed from like 2003 to 2023, right? I mean, incremental improvements. And then, of course, GPT came out. And basically the quote was how would you start, if you were starting your business today, if you're starting your SaaS company today, how would you build it using AI? Do that now. Kind of just reinvent, no matter what you're doing, reinvent. And you're seeing that with, the companies you mentioned, Shopify and all the others. Reinvent your company now to be an AI native company. And you're seeing that across the board, right? Box, we're doing that. And everyone's doing it. Super exciting stuff, but also a little scary if you're an employee or, it's going to change a lot of things. And we could get into that.
I'll share you one thing that people can't see. So I run Llama Lounge, right? And so it's an event and people have to apply. And so I can see it. And you have to be a founder to show up, or a VC, right? Or you work in corporate AI. And so people are applying as founders and they're talking about their projects. And so they are submitting it to me. I can see it. And many of them work at big tech because they're getting ready. They're either going to get canned soon or laid off, or they're getting ready to spin out and start something. So I'm definitely seeing the entrepreneur spirit picking up here in the Valley.
Well, I mean, when we first started this show, we were grabbing onto those people because that's where the entrepreneurship spirit starts, is in that transition, in that shakeout, in that crisis or that pain point. So anyone who's listening who may be that person, love to have them on the show to talk about what they're creating next. But let's pivot for a second, Jeremiah. I want to talk a little bit about this idea about building community. You saw an opportunity at the event that you were at, took the picture, and realized you got to do your own thing. Has building a community become your front-running strategy in order to scale the other ventures you're doing?
Absolutely. And it's native to me. I've been doing community for 20 years. And so to run events or to lead events is just so natural for me to do it. By the way, I have a background as a jazz performance major. So being on stage, I'm not afraid of it.
All the musicians in the room here, except for, I mean,
right.
Yeah, so it's just natural for me to be on stage and make an idiot out of myself. I love doing it, and I'm so good at it. So to bring people together is just so fun. And
I bet you are good at it.
I'm such a good idiot on stage. The best.
Hey, that's something you and Brian have in common.
We've actually shared a lot of stages together. I'm the better idiot, but he's much more graceful. So community is fantastic. And so Llama Lounge, it was just hosted at Zoom headquarters in San Jose, and we had around 250 people, and the makeup is 60% founders, 20% VCs, and then 10% corporate AI buyers. And so we really try to have this whole ecosystem come together, and it's just really grown. So we've had 18 events, and it's just continue to grow because people are so passionate about AI.
I love it. So we're at the 30-minute mark. We're gonna take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue the conversation with Jeremiah and Nathan.
Ooh, cool. Wow.
All right, we're back with Nathan and Jeremiah, and Brian is in the house, and it appears that my voice cramp has completely gone away.
Yeah, that cleared up a little bit ago.
Yeah, I
Which I'm going to miss that guy.
Yeah, that guy's no longer with us, at least for now. All right, so during the break, we started talking about customers' journey or experience, especially through Foundersuite with Nathan. Fundraising is a big challenge for a lot of our listeners, for founders all over the world. So, Nathan, talk a little bit about what that experience is to you and what it is for the founder that may come through Foundersuite.
Sure. So I have a lot of thoughts on fundraising. We could spend hours, but fundraising to me is something that is not rocket science, but there's a lot of ways to kind of do it right and do it wrong. And, love to hear the VC's perspective on this too. 99% of people who are out there raising capital, it's their first time ever raising capital, right? So it's something they have to learn. They often have to kind of learn on the fly. There's tons of content out there. We've got our own podcast called How I Raised It. Quick plug there. 300 interviews with people on how they raise their capital. But still, you're learning this for the first time, usually as you're doing it, as you're out there, pitching Jeremiah in the hot seat. And there are right ways and wrong ways to do it. So we're kind of looking at fundraising, breaking it into its step-by-step components and building tools to help with each step, right? Step one usually is figuring out who you should go be pitching, right? So we have a database. Try not to make this a product plug. We have a database of 200,000 investors. You can go in and search. We're building an AI venture analyst to help you kind of figure out who you should be pitching without you having to do too much hard work. And then what's the next step? How do you get in touch with these folks? So we've built a get intro tool that looks at your social graph, your LinkedIn, your contacts, your people you've met with on your calendar, and it maps a connection path, like shows all your connection paths. If I was pitching Jeremiah, it might show that, Brian is a mutual connection with Jeremiah, and I know Brian because we've met, and these two work together, and it facilitates that intro. And then a lot of the rest of this is your basic blocking and tackling of sending out your deck, following up on your deck, sending, nudge emails, follow-up emails, sending out like a monthly update with your progress, and then eventually moving all these investors into or giving them access to a data room as you're making progress with them. And so that's kind of how we're thinking about it, right? How do we build a flow around fundraising that makes this job easier? Because it's still a really painful process for every founder out there, except for those, 0.002% of AI founders who
is it really just handed over to you and it's that easy, or is there still an engagement process that requires more of the founder, or does it take it off its plate? Because they need space to build as well.
Yeah.
And are you clearing that off their plate?
Definitely not. No, there's still a huge amount of time and effort that has to go in by the founders to run a fundraise. But even the process, like when I was consulting the startups a decade ago and building them a target investor list, I would put in 50, 100 hours of research to build a list, right? It was very time consuming to build a target list. Well, now that's down to 5, 10 hours maybe, right? It's kind of shrunken how much time it takes to identify the right investors. And this AI thing we're working on is hopefully going to make that even shorter. And then, again, the next step of how do I get in touch with each investor, right? That used to be very manual and tedious of looking them up on LinkedIn, seeing if you have mutual connections and navigating that whole path. Now we've condensed the time frame like that. So to answer your question, it still takes a good full-time job for a couple months usually, for most founders to get a good fundraise going, but we've condensed it and made it taken out a lot of the laborious parts.
Yeah, and this is all automated on your side, or are you able to only handle so many clients yourself?
Oh no, it's all software. This is all software as a service. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not raising the capital for them.
It's like a monthly SaaS fee, or are you taking a percent as well?
No, it's monthly SaaS fee. Yeah, I would love to take a percent of the raise because we've had a few on the platform raise hundreds of millions. A couple of unicorns minted, and I would love to have 4% or 6% of those deals.
But I'm doing the math.
That's a whole different business.
If it's 50 hours, if you're starting with that base, you're generalizing, and then you're giving back 40. That's a huge chunk.
Yes. And I would like to charge more for that, but founders don't know that we've reduced it from 50 to 10, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sure. So,
and what kind of, this is kind of the press question. What kind of ROI now are they getting? Are they getting are they getting funded? I mean, I know there's the fundability piece that's still in the hands of the founder.
Yep.
Closing the deal, and of course, then we'll look to Jeremiah, like what is a fundable startup? But how many people who are companies that come to you are actually getting the outcome that they want, or at least moving the needle?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you're kind of asking like, what's the success rate? And that's a hard thing to track because it's ultimately not in our control whether this company gets funded or not, right? It's how good is the pitch? How good is the overall business concept? How relevant is the founder's track record? How well did they do the research? Even though we're helping with that research, how well did they do that research so they're targeting the right investors, right? That's a huge thing people screw up, right? So
they still got to land the plane. You align them with the right runway, bring them in on the approach, but essentially that founder has to land the plane.
I love that metaphor. I'm probably going to steal that and use that in our marketing.
Yes. Yeah, you can take that with you.
You give you your commission.
So Jeremiah, tap in on this. What is a fundable company?
Well, every VC is different, and I love the fact that you're helping to pair them and reduce the amount of noise that we receive of all the pitches. We make our thesis transparent because it's based off the Stanford book called Blitzscaling, so we even have blog posts exactly what we look for. But every single day, my inbox is filled with startups and founders that there's no thesis fit at all.
Yeah.
Like a hardware company or a SaaS product, that's not a fit for us. So what Reid Hoffman and Chris, they wrote the book, and the things that we look for are network effects. So it means that the value increases for every single new customer or user that participates in that company. And then number two is the product-led growth or viral effects. So does the product naturally spread? So we need to see those two things, and we actually score them on a 100-point scale. And they have to receive and earn over 80 points. And actually, Reid reviews our deals before. He's our major LP as well. He reviews the deals before we invest. So we have a huge advantage in the market to see that and get that information from him. And so that's why we've invested in the AI startups that are naturally going to spread and have network effects. So that's what I need to see. What's up?
Well, I was going to ask you, you said you score them. Mm-hmm. Are they filling out like an application form? Or are you guys meeting with them and you're kind of...
Yeah, we can... Well, I can tell right away. My screening question is, do you have product-led growth or viral effects? Like, if you don't have that, then I can't really move forward. It could be an amazing SaaS company. It could be an awesome company that just generates millions of dollars. It's just not the right fit for us. What we need to see, because that will, so that's usually the first thing I can filter. And so we score together. The general partners meet. We have a weekly meeting, and then I got to present the deal, and then we score, and then we go get Reid's feedback on what we're looking for.
Cool. But okay, you've said, talk a little bit about network effects. Like, how do you generate that?
Yeah. So there's around 6 different types of network effects, and AIs are very good at that. So a two-sided marketplace like Uber, the network effect is if you have a lot of people who want to go for a ride, then drivers will show up. Same thing with Airbnb, eBay, or a bank, right? Those are network effects. If you're a SaaS company, you might have data, and that creates a data effect, right? And then, so those are some examples. Now, AI has a unique one that they bring to the table, because AI has a learning effect. It learns the more information you shove into it, and it grabs. So you can actually use those and layer them in combinations, which we will score. And so if you have more network effects, for example, Crew AI, which is growing very fast, is an open source enterprise agentic platform. And multi-agent. So because it's open source, developers are contributing to it. So you have this network effect of the templates, and then the data effect, and it spreads to the different departments, and they use it in their templates. So it just spreads like wildfire, right? So those are the network effects. As a result, it also has viral effects, because open source does that. Of course, the challenge with open source is monetization, which they have those engines on now. So that's how we would look at those particular things in the market.
Cool. Nice. So Nathan, let's kind of wrap up with this customer journey. People come to you. It's still in the hands of the founder to land a plane. How can they, if those founders are still out there listening, and they're leaning in on both of you right now, how can they prepare themselves? Sure, they want to clear the plate. They can do that in a large part to you, but yet what do they need to have their hands firmly wrapped around in order to land that plane and get funding from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think doing the research, we kind of already talked about this, and identifying the right investors. One of the things I like to tell founders is like, fundraising is gets way easier if you're targeting the right people. If you're targeting people like Jeremiah that are looking for your type of deal, your fundraising is going to be way easier. So getting that part right. And that takes some time, right? You got to put in the legwork to kind of do the research, the qualification. I use, fundraising as a sales process a lot, right? Good salespeople qualify their leads, rank them, prioritize them. You want to do that as a founder. Getting your pitch nailed, right? Because you see, how many pitches do you think you see a week, like roughly?
I get more than anybody because I run Llama Lounge, which is a massive event.
But like a rough number.
I don't know, 100?
Couple hundred? Yeah.
I can't even count.
Yeah. And I think that's not atypical, right? I mean, different VCs have different funnels, right? In terms of the startups coming to them, but like many VCs and even angels have dozens, if not hundreds, coming to them. So getting your pitch just crystal clear, super tight, super punchy. And then I guess the third piece I would say, I mean, there's a lot more, but the third maybe leg of the stool would be having some momentum going with your business, something that you can show, whether it's customer traction, whether it's adoption, whether, if you're doing enterprise, maybe it's a pipeline of potential LOIs, something that you can like put out there saying, hey, the market wants this. We're the right company to do this. Look at the momentum starting to build behind this business. Those three pieces, it's a pretty fundable deal. I mean, there's other stuff that can derail it.
If I could add to that.
Please.
So earlier stage deals, we're obviously looking at the founder and we rank that higher. So an early stage company probably doesn't have a lot of network effects, but it's in the pipeline, but we can kind of tell where they're headed. So we're going to judge the founder. Does she or he have the right background? Did they work in that industry? And we also see, did they assemble the right team? Are they leaders? Did they crisply articulate, to your point, their vision, then the mission, then the value prop? And did they have an exit in the past? It sounds like you're dealing with a lot of first-time founders, so probably they have not. But if we hear they have an exit prior, even if it's a small one, that is a big sign that we want to see that. But also, there's negative signs too. Like if you stuck in corporate like too long, are you truly hungry? Those are also questions that we would raise, right? So there's just a lot of different things that we look at. But just to add to the founder's scorecard as well, we have one of those.
So this founder fit, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Essentially, are they the right leader and the ability to bring in the right talent? And do they have the momentum? That is essentially what will get them a look.
Yes. Yep. And then I trial them sometimes I put them on stage at Llama Lounge. So 10 startups get demo slots at Llama Lounge. And by the way, this is how I got into some of these really hot deals, right? Is this process. And then I watch them on stage and then I ask other GPs. And I would ask you too, because you see so many founders, what do you guys think? And then we see how many people are at their table and for how long. I literally watch. I just stand there and I watch.
So you're really okay, I've never said this out loud, but you're naturally and instinctively looking for an energy that draws people to them.
I do, and it's not in the PowerPoint deck.
And it's not it's on stage, it's around the table.
Yeah.
It's who they are as a person.
Yes, so I could see that with Skyfire, who we bet on, like people swarmed their table.
Yeah.
And then I saw that at Crew, like they got swarmed. I was like, I'm putting more money in both, and I did.
That's cool. Well. That's a cool rubric or something,
it's
right?
It's like a
That's
heuristic evaluation.
I like that.
Yeah, that and so I mean, I know
it's only one part. Let's just be really clear, because you could hire people to come around your table. That's I'm looking at. There's a number of things, but it was very clear that the market was hungry for that.
Interesting.
I'm gonna let that. That's kind of like the mind blown moment, Brian.
How many people go to your table after you do a demo, right?
Yeah,
that's a good.
Well, it's not just.
This is how
it's a signal.
This is how we qualify people in life, I think. Right? They're
exactly
not just doing one
same.
thing in life that we like. They do this, they do that, they do the other thing. This is who their partner is, or their friends are, or where they live, or what they involve themselves with, or what instrument they play, or whatever. Right? I mean, we're all multifaceted that way, and I think it's a great approach. I mean, that's really fantastic.
And you're betting on a human too, right? In the early stage, right? You're betting on this entrepreneur, right? It's a big part of it is the human.
Yeah. And so this, again, I'm blown away by that. And it's not just the shiny object, right? It's because you could put a shiny person, shiny object, give swag away. People are gathered around, lined up. But yet there is this other element when you go, well, it's
gravitas.
There's this gravitas. Yeah. How do you build that, or is that just innate?
Yeah, how do you?
Yeah, let's
I think it's partly innate. I think, if you're doing, like, I love fundraising and I love startups. I have been doing this for 2 decades, and I could do it for another 2 decades, and I can literally talk about fundraising all day long. I love it, right? And I think you have to have that sort of founder market fit, founder product fit, all those things, right?
They love what they do.
Yeah.
It's really obvious when you can see a founder who loves what they do. It's just, you
Yeah.
can tell, like, they're so passionate, like that is what they were destined to do.
I remember during the .com bubble, this is a long time ago, but you would see people who were jumping into .coms or starting .coms where they're just trying to quick flip it, right? They're
just
truly
trying to sell
passionate
fish
about it.
sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Fishsauce.com.ai.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so there's a big piece into founder fit, to who gets the attention. Now they have your attention. They got the gravitas. They got an idea. What is kind of that third leg of the stool, as you said, that makes a founder worth investing? Is there other instinctual things that you take a look at, or the passion piece? I've heard a lot about that, the ability to just radiate the energy and overcome just a general feeling, because there's going to be ups and downs in building a company. So you got to be able to power through that with passion. What other elements in an early stage has that founder and the company really pop? Are there anything else, if I can just keep shaking the bush?
Something I talk about a lot to the founders on my platform is building momentum around your deal. Getting the momentum going for your company is one thing, getting customer traction, user adoption, whatever it is, but also getting momentum around your fundraising deal. And I'd love to hear the VC perspective too. I'm like, I do a webinar called Funding Hacks, and one of the things I say is, like, if you don't remember anything else, it's like, you've got to get momentum going for your deal, because investors will watch and wait and kind of drag their feet. And you sort of, it's like porn. You know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Hard to define sometimes, but you know it when you see it. Momentum's like that too. When a startup deal starts to get momentum, and it's hard to artificially create that. You kind of have to just put in the hustle and chops, and it will start to build, and you start to kind of feel it. But I don't know. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, you're right. So a couple things that get VCs, including myself, more interested is when we know there's a strong tier 1 lead. So I'm not a tier 1, right? We're an emerging manager. We're a new fund, a new firm. So if we hear there's a sandhill big giant and it's somebody I know that's going to go in as a lead, that's a great signal. Yeah. If we know you've sold a company before, also a great signal. We want to see that. And if we know you have a lot of signups, those are also things. In addition to the network effects and viral effects that we're looking for. So, and also there's scarcity. In 75% of the deals that I'm in, of the investments, they're all oversubscribed rounds.
Yeah.
So I'm getting into the hot deals, and it's because they also tell everybody we're sold, quote, sold out. And if I know you're sold out, then that's a good sign as well. So creating that scarcity, whether it's true or not, and also the time scarcity, like, we're going to close this in X amount of time, but you got to choose those dates carefully.
Yep.
Then that also helps to get the urgency with VCs, because so it's basically like this. If you're not a great founder or startup, then you are chasing the VCs. You need to figure out how to flip that demand funnel so the VCs are chasing you. And it's only like 1 out of 20 where the VCs chase that founder.
Sure.
And I already gave you some clues on, like, what are those things that need to be done. So to get on those leaderboards, or you're number 1 on GitHub, or you're number 1 on Product Hunt, right? Those things as well. Or you came out of one of the top accelerators, or you came out of a very fancy big tech company. Those all things line up, and just sequencing all those things together also help out.
I would add to that just all that stuff, plus something I talk about is, like, calendar density when you're actually fundraising, like packing your days and weeks full of pitch meetings with highly relevant investors, right? That can create that kind of FOMO and momentum too.
Yeah, that's right as well. And also you want to show that your calendar is limited time, right? Like, so actually, let's bring on that. I want somebody to create an app where they analyze somebody's Calendly, and if the Calendly doesn't get filled up over the period of a week, then you know that person's not in high demand. You can build that. You can build that in your app. You can totally do that.
AI app for, there we go.
The other thing, and when you're fundraising, is to really understand timing. So many founders, most founders are coming from another country to the Bay Area, and we love you. Thank you for coming. Like, immigrants have built Silicon Valley, so that's great. But you don't know the timing. So August, many VCs are gone, and then also from December to like January 15th or so, VCs are gone. So you need to plan ahead. Like, you got to be really careful on when you start to do that fundraising thing, and I'm sure you advise them on that.
It's a good point. A lot of it's like, as soon as the VCs are back from Burning Man and get over their hangovers, hit them up, right? Or even that start of the year, maybe not the first 2 weeks because they're still skiing in the Alps or whatever, but hit them.
But I don't do any of that stuff, but yeah. But I run Llama Lounge. I'm very like grounded.
There you go.
So when is the next Llama Lounge?
Probably. So we did 3 for the spring, and we'll do another 3 in fall. So I'm readying up for in the fall. It'll probably be in September, and it's going to be at SAP in Palo Alto.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay, we've got to have you out to 1900 Broadway.
Yeah, I'm actually so curious about that space. You'll have to invite me out.
Yeah. Well, funny you should ask. June 9th, we have some VIP passes from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. So hit us up in the DMs, and
let's go.
We'll do it. But that'll be fun. And are you familiar with 1900 Broadway?
What town? What city are you in?
Okay, so, we're in Oakland.
There are many Broadways.
1900 Broadway.
Wait,
we are built.
You're not talking about Broadway, San Francisco?
No.
Oakland.
So you got to cross the bridge. 12 minutes. 12 p.m. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Come check it out. Brand new 39-story building on 1900 Broadway. We've got our own garage. Also purchased the old Kaiser building, 20 stories.
Okay, I know where you are.
Yeah, you know exactly where we're at. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
So we're pushing a lot of programming. It's a work, live, play, go complete facility. And
what's it called?
It's called Stack Ventures.
Got it.
So it's co-working. It's live.
It's co-working, co-living, residential. We have events, huge event space. Got vehicles. They got Teslas there that you can use if you live there. Because why have a place when you live right? It doesn't make sense to have a car when you're right in so close proximity.
It's also
to
right next to a BART station.
Yeah, right in front of the BART station. Yeah,
it's a city within a city.
Yeah, I'll take BART over. I think.
Yeah, it comes out right at 1900 Broadway. It's the garage. We have our own garage, six stories high, fully secured. Nope, don't have to worry about paying anything, and it takes you right into the building.
That's cool. You should carve off reserve a couple rooms for the founders from abroad who are coming over.
We have six stories of co-living.
Okay.
And you can get the 4, you share a kitchen, there's 2 bathrooms and then 4 rooms, and it's only like $1,200 a month. I mean, so we're looking to attract companies from overseas.
That's very affordable.
Yeah, well, Oakland
take a little equity in some of these abroad. Screen them, have them come over, set up camp there to do their Silicon Valley fundraising pitch, take a little slice of equity, and you're going to be
all the possibilities.
Yes.
But we're really looking to drive a huge community through there because I think Oakland has kind of been silent for a while, but I believe it completes the tech triangle, and so we're going to really push a community through there and wake it up because I think there's a lot of opportunities.
And partner with Berkeley too, right?
Yeah. Most people actually live in that general area and then commute to San Francisco. So with that being said, love to have you both out. I'll send you some more information, show you some pictures. It'll blow your mind. It's amazing. Amazing. Well, we're getting close towards the end of our show. I want to ask you guys a couple questions. Number 1, how can people connect with you? And 2, what's next for you? Nathan, I'll start with you. How can people connect with you?
How can you connect with me? Well, I'll plug the platforms, Foundersuite.com if you're a startup, Fundingstack.com if you're an emerging manager VC or fundraising advisor. I'll plug our podcast, How I Raised It. It should get you guys on there. It's pretty cool. A lot of interviews with founders, how they raise capital. I thought I knew everything about how to raise capital. I started doing the interviews and I learned a ton from this, right? So if you want to really go deep and drink from the fire hose, How I Raised It, and then connect with me on...
Well, where's that? Where can people find that?
All the places. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the places.
All right, check
How I Raised It. And then connect with me on LinkedIn, Nathan Beckord, Beckord. Publish a ton of fundraising content like we just published yesterday. 30 new emerging manager VC funds with fresh capital, right? Things like that if you're a startup, you're like, hey, brand new venture fund, brand new capital raise, go for it.
How do I get my VC profile highlighted in your awesome system? Like, what do I got to...
Great question.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Connect on LinkedIn. Love, and say you're on the podcast, or you watch the podcast, and
Nice.
love to connect.
And what's next with you?
Next, yes. Well, I mean, like every other company, we're going pretty hard into AI. We're already using a lot of AI stuff to enrich our investor database. And then our virtual venture analyst that will find new VC leads for you while you sleep is in the works. So that's our...
Nice. I want to drive a lot of founders your way, because if you can give them back their time, help them structure some of those deals, I think it's going to, it makes their life a lot easier. So I definitely want to drive a lot of startups your way.
I'll take them on. I'll take them all.
You take them on. All right. Great. Thanks. Jeremiah, how can people connect with you?
I want to invite founders to come to Llama Lounge, the event series that I run at least 6 times per year. It is large, 300 to 500 founders, but 20% of the audience is also VCs and investors, and they wear a different color badge. And then there's 10% that are the corporate AI buyers if you're selling the enterprise, and they have a different colored badge. So you can really network. And plus we have VIPs. For example, the MC at the last event was Rajiv, the CEO of Product Hunt, and the mayor of San Jose, Mayor Matt Mahan, and the Zoom CEO, Eric Yuan, was our speaker. So we had a crazy lineup for founders. It's all about founders at Llama Lounge. I want to serve you. I want to help you connect, and you should apply to demo. And that's like the first way I build this relationship with all these founders. And of the 10 demo slots, 3 are always reserved for female founders. And we actually have to reach out, find female founders. Maybe you know some. Maybe you can send them my way. And only 10% that apply are actually women founders. So we really want to make sure that we're having some representation of that, because it's such a male-dominated industry, and AI can't be that way. It needs to represent everybody.
Can I say badass on the radio?
Yeah, badass.
Yeah, you
there
can,
you go.
Marianne.
And then if you want to reach me, LinkedIn is the best way. J Owyang, and my DMs are open. You can pop me a message, and of course, check out the blitzscalingventures.com website.
Okay, so we got the Llama Lounge. Cover anything else in the future for you?
That's it.
Hiking, new shoes. Because I love your shoe game.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so a big part of me is I do CrossFit like 5 times a week. I stay fit. That's like key, and I don't even drink anymore. It's just like, dad, husband. And then, I do like some nice shoes, and I don't want to wear sneakers and shorts like everybody else in Silicon Valley all the time. Once in a while, cool. But yeah, thanks.
Nice. And one last thing, Nathan, you live in the North Bay. Is it considered the North Bay?
Marin, yeah.
Marin. Mm-hmm. When you're not helping founders, what are you doing up in that beautiful neck of the woods?
I'm playing a lot of pickleball. That's how I stay in shape. Like hours and hours a week playing pickleball. It's really fun. Very addicted. And then a little bit of sailing too. So I have a little boat. So I get out on the bay, and it's the best therapy for a stressful startup life is getting out on the bay. You can't be texting. You can't be doing anything else. You got to be
sailing.
Yeah, that's sailing.
It's instant therapy. No therapy needed. Just sailing.
All right, take us away, Brian, with Christopher Cross, if you got it.
Can I say badass on the radio?
Oh, sorry, that's not the right one.
That's not the right one. But I want to thank you both for being here today. You're both amazing. Thank you so much. I know our audience is going to love it. But that's it for today, Brian.
Thank you.
Stay safe.